I believe most people are in a rut because they lack self-discipline. I believe self-discipline is a real superpower in a world of distractions, where everything is trying to grab your attention. And I also don't believe necessarily that cultivating self-discipline is hard. I believe we make life hard by not being self-disciplined. And a big component of self-discipline is self-mastery. Because if you master yourself, you master the world around you. So in this video, I'll share 7 things with you how you can cultivate this unbreakable self-discipline. And it all starts with purpose, having a clear purpose. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, also mentions cultivating self-discipline starts with purpose. And I believe this is at the core of it. Now, I might have a slightly different perspective on purpose because I used to hate purpose. I thought it was this big life question of why am I here on this earth? And this answer to this question would guide my whole life. And for some reason, it also felt like I had only one chance to answer it. And I had to get it right. So it created a lot of tension and pressure and anxiety around the topic of purpose. So I hated it. I wanted to avoid it as much as possible. But at the same time, I was anxious for not knowing this exact answer. And that's when I chose to simplify it a bit more. So for me, living a purposeful life means living a meaningful life. And living a meaningful life is living in alignment with the things that are important to you. Something purposeful, something meaningful, something important. So it's very simple. Purpose is living in alignment with the things that are important to you. Now, of course, the question is, what is important to you? And I believe your purpose and the answers to these questions, they serve as an anchor and a compass. So you have questions like, what makes you want to get out of bed each morning and why? What are your most important goals and why are these important? What values are guiding your life and why? What values are guiding the way you want to show up in life for yourself, for others? And why are these important? And this is your purpose. You can ground yourself in this clarity and in these answers. Grounding yourself in it is the anchor. Like life, let's say life is rough. There's so much chaos. Let's say you're a boat and you're on rough waters. There are big waves hitting you and trying to get you off your ground, off your purpose. But when you're anchored in your purpose, you stay grounded. Nothing can get you off your purpose. So having this kind of clarity creates a lot of strength, confidence, and courage. Now, at the same time, this purpose and the answers to these questions also serve as a compass because it guides your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, your feelings. You know what you want to align it with and what direction you're going into. When we're talking about purpose, I believe most people are so scattered and stuck in a rut because they lack these answers, they lack the clarity. And when your mind is scattered, when you lack clarity, you start to react to everything. You start to react to your feelings and to your impulses. And this is how you give in to short-term pleasures. Because you have no direction. You don't know what to choose for. You don't know what's important to you and intentionally making decisions to live in alignment with this. So you want to create a time and space for yourself to answer these questions first. This is at the core of all that you want to be achieving. Answer these questions first. Get clear on what's important to you and your purpose and answer them truthfully. Don't answer them in a way that, oh, I think society might expect this of me, or oh, my friends are doing this, so I need to be doing this as well. Answer them in a way that's true to you. Truth is the highest leverage for change. And I believe living a purposeful life is living a life true to yourself. So that's the first one, to cultivate this self-discipline. The second thing that I want to share with you to cultivate this self-discipline is minimizing the time between thought and action. So when we're thinking about self-discipline, we often think how difficult it is, how hard it is, how hard the task is going to be. And this is your mind, by the way, just playing tricks on you. It wants to keep you safe and comfortable. The real thing is, the task isn't that hard. Discipline is not that difficult. It's usually the start that's difficult. And the way we think about discipline that makes it difficult and hard. Because you've probably experienced it before where you had a long day at work, you felt drained, there was a lack of energy, and you actually planned to go to the gym, but every cell in your body does not want to go. But still you pick yourself up and go to the gym. And it becomes one of the most amazing workouts you had. And you hit a PR, you're in a flow, and it just feels incredible. Maybe when you also want to write a script or something, and you think like, oh, it's so difficult, I don't know what to write, and all of these thoughts. But when you finally start writing and when you catch this flow, things become effortless, things become easy. And this is also what I believe. I believe discipline is easy. You will realize how easy it is all along when you start. But it's the start that we make so complicated, with all of our thinking about it. But we don't know. You don't know if it's difficult or hard. And this is the place that I come from. I always tell myself, I don't know, let's find out. And I always keep in mind how easy the task becomes once I started. So that's why the goal for me is to minimize time between thought and action, because once I started, things become easy. But we overcomplicate the start. We take our feelings way too serious. And that's why having a clear purpose is so important as well, because you don't allow your feelings to be your compass, because your feelings fluctuate throughout the day so many times. You sometimes can't even control them because they're all over the place. So you don't want to allow something like that to guide you in your life. That's where you want to have your purpose guide you. And your purpose guides your actions. And you can choose very intentionally. So third thing that I want to share with you is slow down to speed up. This is also a mantra that I live by, but that I also struggle with a lot, because I sometimes run way too hard in life. And when I'm talking about slowing down to speed up, I talk about life is going fast. Life is going in a chaotic way by you. Many things are happening. Also, maybe a lot of progress that you're making, but internally, you're slowing down. A big part of self-discipline is self-control. And you can only be in control when internally you're calm, you're grounded, you're anchored in your purpose and in anything. So you can see this in people when they start running from inside of them, because their actions, their non-verbal and verbal communication becomes very shocking. You see these very fast reactions. Their eyes are wide open. They respond very quickly, as if they're always in a rush. They're always trying to catch up. They're always behind in life. And this reactive place is not a place that serves you to become more disciplined. It's coming from an anxious place. Reactivity is not self-control. Self-control is, and Ryan Holiday also mentions this in his book about self-discipline. And he mentions also the importance of self-control to cultivate more self-discipline. And self-control really means creating some space between the input and your response. And if you master this part, you will become so powerful in life. There's an input of life, and instead of reacting to it, you slow down, create some space between the input and the response, and you choose your response intentionally. And that's the ultimate self-control. But you can only have this self-control if you slow down. And this is what a lot of men in the men's group that I'm running also mention, because life is going by so fast. Life is chaotic, always. And what they love about the sessions that we're having in the community, because we have weekly sessions, it's their time to slow down. Once we're in a session, it's like they can finally breathe. They can recalibrate. They can get clear on their direction again, on their purpose again, on their values again. They can connect with themselves, connect with the brothers alongside them, and they can go at it again in life. And you need to create a space to slow down. And if you're, by the way, interested to connect with like-minded, ambitious individuals from all over the world and create together with them in life, have this support system that doesn't only support you, but also challenges you to become better, then fill out the application in the description below, because I would love to connect with you and see how this fits. Because this is also, to mention, it's a very low investment. It's only 47 euros a month, because I want to make this accessible to a lot of people. And this is a low investment with a crazy upside if you're willing to show up and put in the work. So if you want to cultivate this support network and grow with brothers alongside of you, definitely fill out the application form. So this is, by the way, the third thing that I wanted to mention about self-discipline. Fourth thing is not about getting everything right and perfect. It's about getting on track as fast as possible. The reason why a lot of people struggle with self-discipline is because they have this idea in their mind that everything needs to be perfect. And the bar and the standard is so high that why would you even start? Like, it's impossible to live up to the standard. And also because a lot of people beat themselves up for not living up to the standard. And I'll give you a bit of a stupid example. Let's say you grab a cup of tea and you walk around and you want to go to the table to drink your cup of tea and you didn't see a hurdle that's on the floor somewhere, or the obstacle, and you trip over it, you fall in the tea, you spill it all over the ground. What most people do is they start beating themselves up of how stupid they are. Like, how could you not see this obstacle? Why did you spill the tea all over the floor? Some people, they run away. They act like it didn't happen. Like, I hope no one sees that I spilled the tea. Or what would they think of me? What do I think about myself? Or they just want to dissociate completely from what happened. But what do you do when you spill tea on the floor? You clean it up and you make a new one. It's not that difficult. Why would you beat yourself up? And the tea is all the actions that you're taking. It's the consistency, it's the self-discipline. When we're thinking about consistency, let's say you want to go to the gym 7 times a week. I don't necessarily believe that consistency is going to the gym 7 times a week. It's you going to the gym 4 times a week, missing day 5 and picking yourself back up on day 6. That's the ultimate level of self-discipline and self-control. That's, to me, is consistency. Are you able to pick yourself back up as fast as possible? That's the thing that you want to be aiming for. The goal is not perfection. The goal is getting back on track as fast as possible. And if that becomes your goal, self-discipline becomes way easier and also way more fun, because you are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. Take your humanness into consideration. Like, you are human, you're not a robot. It's not supposed to be perfect. But the thing that's necessary is to get in motion and recommit and recommit and recommit over and over and over again. So if you have this in mind, self-discipline becomes way easier. Fifth thing that I want to share with you is also fall in love with the hardship. The reason why a lot of people struggle with self-discipline is because they imagine it's so hard and so difficult. And yes, change is hard and change is painful. Now, I see this a lot with guys, by the way, when it comes to going to the gym. They go to the gym and they fall in love with the pain. They fall in love with the soreness, with completely exhausting the muscles. Because this is what I love as well. And the reason why they fall in love with this is because they change the relationship with it. They know that if I'm completely destroying my muscles, then I'm growing. And that's why you want to fall in love with the hardship. Fall in love with the difficulty to start. Because this is what makes all of this stuff incredible and amazing. It's hard because this is how you're going to be differentiating yourself from others. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult because you want to be growing. It's not supposed to be easy. And this is a mistake we make by thinking, well, it's supposed to be easy. Like, no, it's not. It's supposed to be hard because that's where the growth is for you. That's where the change is. And we're often afraid, like I did with the tea example, we're often afraid to make mistakes. But it's all in our relationship to these topics. You are supposed to make more mistakes than the average human being. If you have big ambitions for yourself, if you are clear on your purpose, and which is usually not like, oh, this small little purpose, it's usually a bit bigger. If you are clear on the business that you want to create, on the impact you want to have on this world, you are supposed to make more mistakes than other people. You want to, instead of move away from hardship, you want to move towards it. Instead of avoiding mistakes, you want to move towards the mistakes. You want to get excited about making more mistakes because it's a necessity in the process. And this is because things are not hard. Things are not difficult. It's our relationship to these things that makes something difficult or makes something easy. So if mistakes become something as in something you're curious of, something you want to move towards, you want to make more mistakes because this will get you ahead faster. You want to go and move and lean into the pain and discomfort because you will experience far more growth than anyone else. This is how you start to fall in love with hardship, by changing your relationship with it. And sixth thing that I want to share with you is focus on actions. Focus on progress instead of the outcomes. If you're looking too far into the future consistently, you will be demotivated because every single time you come back to the present, you will see that the reality is not like that. And that's where the demotivation happens. When you are clear on your purpose, or when you set the big goal and the big vision, it's there. You don't have to look at it consistently. Like, it's set the direction. Now it's all about action. The goal is taking action consistently. When you want to cut down a tree, you start to sharpen your axe and you start cutting. But when you're constantly thinking about with every single hit, you think, well, when is the tree going to fall over? Is it ever going to fall? Like, it's not falling over yet. So there might be something wrong. And you start to overcomplicate things again and overthinking. And I know I'm also talking to myself in this case, but it's all about the hit. It's about the next hit and the next hit and the next hit. That's what it's all about. It's not about having the dream of physique. It's about going to the gym and the next day and the next day and the next day. Because if you look at, can I do one more rep? Oh yeah, that's easy. Can I do 50 more workouts? Oof, that's difficult. It's all in our perception and perspective. That's why you want to not constantly look at the big vision, but look at the step in front of you. Can I hit the tree one more time? Yes. After that hit, can I hit it one more time? Can I hit it one more time? And do that over and over and over again. And then you just sharpen the axe again and you continue hitting. Focus on the actions, not the outcomes. Only focusing on the outcomes will demotivate you. Focusing on the actions will create motivation, because if the goal is the action and you take the action, there's something to be celebrated. And people think like, oh, but it's not the goal yet. Well, that's exactly the reason why you're not self-disciplined. Because you're judging all the actions that you're taking with the end goal in mind. But it's not about that. It's again about the person you're becoming in the process, which is cultivated through the actions that you're taking. That's what the main thing is that you're actually after as well. It's not about the goal. It's about who you are becoming in the process. The shift in being that happens. That's the real thing that you're after, which is cultivated by action. So the seventh thing, the last thing that I want to share with you is seeing all the small wins. And I kind of touched upon a point already. I speak to so many clients that come to me that are completely, let's say, depressed and demotivated, and they lack confidence and they think they can do it and they're in a very down place. But when we look back at all the progress they've made, they're like, oh shit, I'm actually pretty awesome. Like, I'm pretty incredible with all the things that I've created. But we forget to look at the small wins. Like, one way to cultivate also not just self-discipline but also this motivation is to see how far you've come. The challenge for a lot of people is when they develop themselves and when they shift energy, they get into a state where this becomes the new norm. It becomes normal. It becomes normal to work out every single day. It becomes normal to think about life in this kind of way. But it wasn't maybe normal a few weeks ago. Sometimes you struggle with, let's say, starting to go to the gym for months. You struggle with your workouts. And then finally you go to the gym for, let's say, a week straight and think like, oh yeah, it's not that difficult. But it was difficult before. So it's a huge win if you start to create consistency there. And like this, there are many different things that are stacking up. But if you don't stack up your wins, if you don't accumulate them, connect with them, acknowledge yourself for them, things become very quickly demotivating, because it's never good enough. And this is also what happens if you don't focus on the actions but on the outcomes. Like, it's only good when it's this outcome. Like, you will fuck yourself up. Like, the process doesn't become fun. And a big part, I believe, also of self-discipline is life is supposed to be fun. Like, let's not take our feelings so serious. Let's not take self-discipline so serious. Let's cultivate more fun. Let's celebrate the wins and how far we've come and the progress we've made. And that's where, again, slowing down to speed up is so important. You can only see your wins, connect to your wins, when you slow down enough to look at them, to take the time to see how far you've come and to see how amazing you are. Because you will, what do you think? Will a loser create more great things in their life? Of course not. Will someone great create more things in their life? More great things in their life? It's who we are and who we believe we are that will create more of that in life. If you feel free, you will create more freedom. If you have stacked all these wins in your life, you will start to stack more wins if you connected to it. And that's the power of also seeing all the small wins and celebrating them to the fullest. So I hope these points helped for you to cultivate more self-discipline. If you're a big part, by the way, of also being more self-disciplined is having a community around you that supports you, because it's difficult to go at things alone consistently in life. If you have consistently these checkpoints with your brothers alongside you, like, it's far more easier to recalibrate, to recommit, instead of doing this all by yourself. So I just wanted to mention that again. If you're interested to join, click on the application form in the description below and we will schedule a call. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.